Well, welcome. It's Monday. It is the 26th day of this challenge. It's October 26th. So thank you so much for tuning in once again for my Monster a Day challenge. Kind of sitting here baffled, like, how did it become the 26th already? Anyway, so I'm going live, and hopefully my internet will keep going, and looks like it's going strong now. But um, anyway, so we're in the final stretch. We've got, counting today, there's 6 days left. So there's not a whole lot. I've covered a lot. We've done some drawing, we've done some painting, we've done some collage, even some paper sculpture. And I thought for the last 6 days here, I would kind of go and maybe go back to some drawing ideas. And these are things that I do, especially like whenever I'm feeling stuck, or I just need to do something a little bit different. And they're also pretty easy to do with limited materials. So today, yeah, we're going to do some drawing, and then just kind of wrap up the week with some different drawing ideas. So each day I'm going to kind of do something a little bit different. So it's not just drawing a monster like I did at the beginning. It's going to be a little bit different. So anyway, all I'm going to use is drawing paper, pencil, eraser, and my pen. So if you want to follow along, it's pretty easy to do. If you want to do your own thing, by all means. And as always, if you are tuning in and you want to pop into the comments and say hi, it's always awesome to see who is out there watching. So anyway, let's go ahead and let's dive in, and we'll talk about what we're going to do. Okay, so I've got my paper. Now, I've got a little bit different paper than I have been using. This is drawing paper, so it's just white drawing paper, and I have mine 6x9, and I like that it's a little bit skinnier. It's kind of longer and skinnier. So I'm using the drawing paper for two reasons. Number one, because it's longer and skinnier, and number two, I'm going to fold it. And that mixed media paper that I've been using doesn't fold as easily, so this is going to be a lot easier to fold. All right, so what we're going to do is something that I call a big mouth monster, okay, and it's actually going to be interactive. So kind of like a puppet that I made a while back, but a little bit different. So what I'm going to do with this paper, I actually have two pieces here. If you don't have 6x9, that's fine. 9x12, 8.5 by 11, that all works the same. So I do this by folding it in half. You could do this slightly differently, but I fold it in half. Now, I'm not going to make a puppet, but this drawing becomes interactive. And this is something that I've seen a lot, especially with schools and teachers, a lot of them being virtual. This is a fun activity. I mean, it's great for kids, but just like all my monsters, I think they're great for adults. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this back. Now, I could fold it back to the fold. I could fold it back a little bit further. It's really up to you to decide how much you want to fold. I like to fold it back to the fold here, but you could fold it a little bit beyond. Okay. So what that does, it gives me a smaller paper. And the idea is that when I pull it, the monster's going to open its mouth. Okay, so that's what I'm going to aim for. Now, if you have a hard time visualizing it, don't worry, I'm going to work on that. So we're going to basically draw our monster with the paper folded. Okay, and so the idea is that the monster is going to be probably kind of short, and that's okay. And what I want to do is I'm going to kind of lightly sketch, maybe thinking about the eyes. I like to do my nice big eyes. But the idea is that the fold here is the lip. It's the mouth. So I don't want to do anything like below. So I'm not even going to stick a tongue out. I'm not going to put any teeth sticking out. Okay. So I got eyes. Let's go ahead and get the body drawn in. I'm going to kind of draw the body almost straight up and down on the sides. And then it's going to come down and maybe some little feet. Okay. Top of the head. And I try to sketch lightly so that I can erase, just like I did at the, in the beginning whenever I was just drawing. Okay, so the idea is that this right here is the mouth. So I'm going to just trace that fold between the sides. So that way I know, like, okay, that's the top of the mouth. And maybe, I don't know if you could see that or not, but anyway, the nice thing is with drawing the monster this way is that I can give him some nice big horns that stick out this side. All right, now arms. Notice that I haven't done the arms yet. Okay, so I usually stick the arms out somewhere near the mouth. I'm going to stick the arms out on the bottom, so I'm not going to go above the fold. I'm going to go below the fold. And then draw my arms in. Okay. Give him some fingers. So, so far it's kind of my standard monster. Put in the irises and the pupils. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead. I just remember thinking all that stuff about the collage of trying to draw the eyes just slightly cross-eyed. So that might be something to try. Okay. So, looks like our kind of standard monster. Alright, just give him some spots. Okay, so here's where the fun part comes in. So if I open this up, I'm going to slide this up a little bit. If I open that up, okay, so now there's the top of his head, there's his bottom. But remember, this is the top of his mouth, this is the bottom of his mouth. So this all becomes mouth in here. And this is where you can kind of get creative. And this is where, like I was saying, how you fold it. So if you don't want the mouth to be so big, you can fold this part. Okay, so if you don't want the mouth to be so big, then you make this part, you fold it over so that it comes down past the fold. And then this part will be smaller, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I connect those two sides. So that's going to be his mouth. So down here's kind of the bottom lip, up here's the top lip. Okay, and then I can get real creative with what's inside. Okay, so I can give him really long, sharp teeth or square teeth. I didn't like how they weren't all that even. Okay, same thing at the bottom. Okay, now one of the things I like to do is I like to put a little line up each side. So kind of thinking like that's the inside of the cheek, if that makes sense. Because the idea is I'll probably color in this part black, and then I will, fill that all in, and then that way the black's not up against the background. All right, and then I can think about a tongue. Now the idea is that whatever's here in the mouth stays hidden, so that way when I close it up, it's hidden now, and then it's a surprise when it opens up. So if I do a tongue, I don't want the tongue to come up and like be up above this line here, so I can, or come down. So I'm going to do a tongue, but this time it's going to be a kind of a long pointy tongue. Okay, and I can get creative, so I can think about, what does the monster's mouth look like? What is that? The back of the mouth. I forget what that little like thing that hangs down is called in the back of the mouth. So I could do that. Maybe I draw another little monster inside his mouth, like he's eating the monster, or maybe the little monster lives in his mouth. So it's just, Yeah, so I like these because they kind of crack me up because the mouth is so big. So you go from this like teeny tiny cute monster, then it's like, bah! I don't know, just they kind of cracks me up. So, but yeah, so that's kind of like the idea, and I can get really really creative with what's going on inside of the mouth. Now let's talk about if you wanted a background. Okay, so if you wanted a background, you might not like draw trees that go up above the fold, because then when you open it, it's like, oh, then the trees grow long too. So you might put the ground in, you might put something in the background here, and you could do it the opposite way. So like I do it this way and the bottom opens up, but you could always have it this way, and then and then it opens up from the top. Really doesn't matter which way you do it. But anyway, so there he is. Now I just need to do like I've done before and outline him. I've got my black markers here, or my black pens, and I've got my eraser. So, but yeah, so that's kind of, I just like doing this. This is just kind of cracks me up. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I've got a slightly different pen. Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep that. So I'm going to use that fine, that really extra fine or super fine point to outline. So when I outline it, I'm going to open it up and then just kind of do like I've done before. And what I want to do is I want to outline the whole thing first, erase, and then add in the details or thicken my lines. So I like this idea because it's just a little bit different, thinking about how art doesn't have to be, this picture that hangs on the wall or this sculpture that sits up on a shelf. That art can be interactive, that art can be a participation thing. That's why I like this. Same thing like with when I did the puppet. That, it's like it doesn't have to be, just something that ends up getting hung on the wall. So as I do this, I often like to make like little changes as I'm drawing, as I'm outlining. So the sketch is there just to kind of get the basics, and then I can go in and with the pen start to think about how things might be a little different. Here I can kind of shift the teeth over a little bit. I can neaten up the spots. So if you're just tuning in and you want to pop into the comments and say hi, it's always great to see where people are tuning in from. And I apologize, I didn't have a chance to pop on Facebook and say, hey, I'm going to be live streaming. And I've been having some major issues with the internet, and or should I say the internet's been having some major issues. There on Friday, well, Thursday and Friday, we were having some major problems. It just wasn't working right. And so Friday, I made the decision, instead of trying to live stream and then having to record, I just decided to record. And today, it seems like things are holding pretty steady, even though my little preview on Facebook isn't working. So I got the little green bar, little green square in the app that I use to stream. So it says green, so I'm assuming it's going out to the world, and if not, it's recording, so. So one thing about this is I kind of like the juxtaposition of that cute monster to this. I wouldn't say it's scary. I think it's a little scarier than, like, the cute little monsters that I've done. But it's kind of okay. Not really sure what the inside of the mouth looks like. I'm just trying to make this up. Okay. So I made these little bumps by the lip, basically, just to give him a lip. Now, one of the things that I've done with this kind of thing is I've done some sculptural things with it, some like little pop-ups. So I've done it where the tongue comes out, so that way whenever you fold it up, you don't see that. And then when you open it up, the tongue sort of pops out a little bit, or the eyes pop out. So you can make this kind of sculptural, taking some of those ideas that I've used over the past week or so. All right, so I've got them all outlined. Now I'm just going to take my eraser and erase. So, this from this point on, it's just really kind of like I was doing that first week, for those first few drawings. Just using the pen. Or I could, if I wanted to, add color to it. So feel free to add color to yours. You can use whatever you have: markers, crayons, colored pencils, paint. So this drawing paper, it's pretty heavy. It's not the best thing for paint, but I can paint on it if I wanted to. It might buckle a little bit. It might wrinkle a little bit, but it's still a pretty sturdy paper. If you're using printer paper, then yeah, I definitely would not paint it because that's just so thin. Okay, so I actually pulled out a few other pens. So this is an F, so I guess it's like a fine point, but it's a little bit thicker than the S. And then I have my other one, which is like a nice thick point. I don't know if I want to use that one. That one might be a little. Actually, that would be good for the mouth part here. So this is just a nice bold pen, but I just kind of think he's a little bit smaller than I had drawn before, so I don't know if I want to use such a thick point. on him. So if you're just tuning in and you missed the beginning, this isn't just a drawing that I've done. It's something I call big mouth drawing, and I folded the paper. So I folded the paper in half, and I folded it back, drew the monster. He's so cute. But then you open it up, and then you draw the mouth inside. So he goes from cute to not so cute. Okay, so I think I'll use this other point. Like I said, it's just a little bit thicker than the S tip. That's what I like about good quality drawing pens. You can get them in a variety of tip sizes, especially the black. Like Faber-Castell, these Pitt Artist pens, they have a full range of the colors, but unfortunately, not all their colors come in a wide range of tip sizes. So some of them only come in a brush tip, and then some only come in with the S tip and the brush tip. But the black is definitely something that comes in, has a lot of different sizes. So I think there's like 8 different sizes of the black. And you can buy it in a set too. I just think I want the outline to be a little bit thicker around the eyes. You do have to be careful. I just realized I smudged it a little bit over here. It can take a few moments for the ink to dry. Just trying to be careful of not dragging my hand through the wet ink. And one of the things I want to make sure is when it closes, and that you can really see like the mouth. So I think I need to bring this a little bit thicker. I like how I made the bumps on the side of the lips. So again, I don't put like teeth pointing out like I would with my other drawings, because then if I open it up, then the tooth would have to be really super long. So this way he can really open up his mouth, and the teeth can be inside of the mouth. So this pen doesn't quite give me the thick line that I want, so I have to go back over, but I kind of like that. I like the fact that it's not an even, smooth line. Just to kind of make it a little bit wonky. I like that term, wonky. And I think back to when I was, doing the collages, and how the eyes weren't perfect circles, and things were just a little bit off. Some people really get caught up in that idea of doing something perfectly, and that if it's not perfect, then it drives them nuts. That somehow, like, if it's not a perfect circle, then it's not good. I just think a lot of times perfection is an excuse. Perfectionism is an excuse, because then we can be like, oh, I can't do it perfectly, so then why even bother? But if we kind of come at it from that point of view, like, well, I'm a human being. It's not going to be perfect. There's no way it can be perfect. I'm human. Like, I can't make a perfect mark. I can't make a perfect circle. Even like if I'm using a tool, a lot of times it's not going to be perfect. So I think we just kind of need to banish that word from our vocabulary when we're making art, because I think it can stop so many people. I like that term wabi-sabi, which I think is a Japanese term that basically, embraces the wonkiness, I guess, is an easy way of saying it. I don't want to say it embraces the imperfection, because then that implies that there is this idea of perfection. But, it embraces the accidental. the uneven. Okay, let's go back to that S. So now I want to start thinking about the details. This might be a time that if I was going to add color, I might add color to it. But since I'm just going to do an ink drawing, I'm going to put in as much detail as I can. And it just kind of goes back to that notion of my time limit. I'm giving myself just an hour. But it's like you can give yourself as much time as you want. Trying to think maybe these spots need to be a little bit darker. So I'm not going to color them in completely black, but just kind of use the pen to put in kind of a rough value. It just brings in a little bit of contrast to the image. So I want the mouth to be a little bit darker than the outside. So I'm just doing these lines that follow the inside contour of the roof of the mouth. Just basically doing a little bit of shading. So the closer I put the lines together, if they overlap, the darker it's going to be. Yeah, he cracks me up. So let's see what he looks like. So he goes from cute little monster. Yeah, it just cracks me up. All right. One other thing to think about is, I was talking about background before, but you could easily do a speech bubble. So like thinking about, like, you got all this space here. So what if he says something? So he opens up his mouth and it's like, I'm hungry, or say I don't know. But that's just something to think about. So yeah, so if I had more time, I'd probably add some color to him. But just kind of wanted to show you that you could do a drawing that is interactive. It doesn't have to hang on the wall. It doesn't have to be just a standalone kind of piece. So I really, yeah, that just cracks me up. So anyway, so there's day number 26. So I hope you enjoyed that, something a little bit different. And I've been having fun with those kind of drawings. Like I said, it's something that I came across just because of teachers online. I belong to a lot of teacher groups on Facebook and follow a lot of teachers on social media. And this is a common project that especially at the elementary level, that art teachers do. But I just thought, okay, I gotta use it with my monsters, and it's such a fun activity to do, and to do for yourself as an adult, or to do it with kids as well. But I've been really enjoying doing it. I started doing it over the summer, and when I was teaching some camps, and it was just something that, like I said, just it's fun. And that's the whole reason that I do monsters, is that I do it because I find that they're fun, and it kind of takes me back to my childhood. So so that's day number 26. I will be probably doing a video tomorrow, recording it, won't be coming live. But I'll try something different, a different type of drawing. So I'll try to do a different type of drawing each day this week, all the way up until Saturday, which will be our last day, and Halloween and everything. So anyway, I really appreciate you tuning in, and if you haven't said hi, pop into the comments and you can say hi. You can always ask questions or leave other comments as well. And if you've been making monsters, I would love to see your monsters. So you can always put those in the comments, or you can tag me in social media. So I would love to see what you and whoever else in your household might be doing them. So really appreciate you tuning in. This one was a little bit short today, 45 minutes, but that's all right. Giving myself at least an hour. Sometimes it takes less, sometimes it takes a little bit more. So thanks so much for tuning in, and as always, happy creating, and thank you so much.